Hi friends, welcome to the channel Unshackling Sudokus and Puzzles. Ashish here, and today I'll be covering a hybrid Sudoku on our channel. So the Sudoku that we are solving today is 159 Quadruple Sudoku constructed by grkles and Gabe K9. So both are father and son, and I'm really excited to cover this video on our channel. So I really thank the authors for giving me an opportunity to cover a video on our channel. So before going to the Sudoku, I would highly recommend you to please subscribe to the channel Unshackling Sudokus and Puzzles if you haven't done so. It will really motivate us to cover videos on daily basis. And if at all you have a request for any Sudoku variant or a puzzle genre, do let us know in the comment below and we'll surely make a video on it. And now we have also started a Patreon page for Unshackling Sudokus and Puzzles. So those who think that it would be good for us to good for you to support us, we have been covering videos on daily basis from past 2 years, and we have more than 600 videos on our channel. So if at all you can support us, please do become a patron of our Patreon page. I would really appreciate that. Right now, coming on to this Sudoku. So normal classic Sudoku rules apply. That is, you need to place digits from 1 to 9 in each row, each column, and 3 into 3 box without repetition. Apart from that, there are a few circles with and some given digits inside those circles, right? So those digits indicate those digits would have to be inside these 4 cells. So 2, 4 and 7 once at least would have to be inside these 4 cells, right? 1 and 4 would have to be inside these 4 cells. 1, 5, 9 would have to be in these 4 cells, right? That is what the quadruple Sudoku says, inside this the digits inside these circles. Apart from that, you have 1, 5, 9. So what does that mean? As you can see here, column 1, column 5 and column 9 are shaded here in red color, which means that in that particular row, wherever you have a 1 is indicated by the first column. So for example, if you have a 1 here, which means this would have to be the 4th, because 1 is in the 4th digit in that column. So if you have a 4 here, which means 1 would have to be in the 4th digit, right? Sorry. If you have a 5 here, which means 1 would have to be in the 5th digit in that column. If you have a 3 here, which means 1 would have to be in the 3rd digit from that column, right? That is what column 1 indicates. Column 5 indicates the same logic with the number 5 instead of number 1. So if you have a 6 here, which means the 6th digit in that column is number 5, right? If you have a 7 here, the 7th digit in that column is number 5. And same it works for column 9 with the number digit 9. So that is what the rule says for 159. Right, and with that we should be able to solve this Sudoku. So let us see. These would have to be 5, 6, 7, 8. These would have to be 2, 3, 5 and 6, right? Okay, you know that one of the ones would have to be in these 4 cells. Okay, another logic in 159 Sudoku is in every box okay, so there are 9 boxes here, and every box has 3 shaded cells, right? 3 red shaded cells. In those 3 shaded cells, the digits would have to be higher, medium and lower. So for example, one of the digits would have to be higher, that is 7, 8 or 9. One of the digits would have to be medium, that is 4, 5 and 6. One of the digits would have to be lower, that is 1, 2, 3. You cannot have any 2 cells in that shaded cells with both higher, both lower or both medium digits. So out of those 3 shaded cells, one would have to be the higher, one would have to be the lower, and one cell would have to be the medium digits, that is 4, 5, 6. Higher is 7, 8, 9, medium is 4, 5, 6 and lower is 1, 2 and 3, which means one of these 2 digits would have to be 1, 2 and other would have to be 8 or 9. So one of the ones would have to be in these 4 cells, one of the ones would have to be in these 4 cells, right? Because if you have a 8 or 9 here in one of these 2 cells, one would have to be in one of these 4 cells. If you have an 8 here, this would be 1. If you have a 9 here, this would be 1. If you have an 8 here, this would be 1. If you have a 9 here, this would be 1. And the other digit would have to be either 1 or 2, right? Which means this digit would have to be 4, 5 or 6, right? And which means 5 and 6 is not possible because you cannot have 1 in one of these 2 cells. These 4 digits are now logged into 5, 6, 7, 8. Which means this cell would have to be a 4 and this cell is a 1 now. Okay. Okay. And which means 4 cannot be in any of these cells. 4 would have to be in one of these 4 cells, right? You will have a 1 in one of these 4 cells, which means you will have 2 or 3 in one of these two cells, right? Okay, so we're not sure of it now. You'll have one of these 4 cells, which means 7 or 8 would have to be here. 7 and 8 would have to be here. 7 and 8 would have to be here somewhere, right? Not sure of it. Okay, you know that 9 would have to be in one of these 4 cells, so these 2 cells would have to be either 2 or a 3, right? One of these cells would have to be 2 or 3. If you have a 9, 1 or a 2, I'm sorry, not 2 or 3, 1 or 2. So if you have a 9 here, this would be 2. If you have a 9 here, this would be 1. Okay, that isn't helping us much. Okay, so what else are we missing here? Okay, according to the logic here, 5, 6, 7, 8, one of the 5s would have to be here, another 5 would have to be here, right? So if this is 6, 5 would be here. If this is 7, 5 would be here. If this is 8, 5 would be here. And if it is 5, that is still indicating its own place, right? So which means 5 would not be in any of these 3 cells, right? So because you already have 5 in these 8 cells, you have 2 5s in these 8 cells. So both of these two columns are already logged out with 5. 5 are already in one of these two in these 8 cells. So which means 5 cannot be here. 5 would have to be in one of these 2 cells, which means one of the 3s would have to be here. If you have a 5 here, 3 would be here. If you have a 5 here, 3 would be here. So 3 is not here. 3 is in one of these 2 cells, right? And another 5 would have to be here or here, which means it would be 6 or 7. So 3, 6 and 7, right? These are the only possible digits here in this cells. So if you have a 5 here, this would be 6. If you have a 5 here, this would be 7. If you have a 5 here, this would be 6. If you have a 5 here, this would be 7, and the other digit would have to be 3. You have already marked a 3 here, which means you have a 3, 6, 7 here. So 9 would have to be in one of these 2 cells, right? Which means one of these 2 cells would have to be 4. So 4 cannot be here. 4 would have to be here, because wherever you have a 4, that indicates the position of 9 in that column. So 9 would have to be here, which means 4 would have to be here. Okay. And 4 in this, okay, you have a 4, 9 hidden pair here. Okay. A 4, 9 hidden pair here. So 3 is in one of these 2 cells. If you have a, oh, that's awesome. That is excellent, guys. Whatever digit, okay, so 3 is in one of these 2 cells. 2 also cannot be in one of these 2 cells. So these 2 cells would have to be 5, 6, and there is no possibility that you can have 5 and 6 both in these 4 cells. Because if you have a 5, 6 pair here, 5, 6 gets eliminated from these 3 cells, and there is only one place for 5 and 6 both. So which means 2 would have to be in one of these 2 cells, and one of the 5, 6 would have to be here, another 5, 6 would have to be here, which means one of the 8s would have to be here. So you can remove 8 from these cells. Two is in one of these 2 cells, right? So one of the 5, 6 would have to be here, so that would be this cell, right? Nice. So one of the 6, 7 would have to be here. That would be this cell. So 5 is eliminated from this cell. So if 5 is eliminated from this cell, wow, that is excellent logic, guys. That is amazing. I will just go back again and repeat the logic what I have done here. Whatever digit you have here, 5 or 6, that would have to be here, which means 7 cannot be here. Whatever digit you have here, one of the 6 or 7, You cannot have any of these 3 cells would have to be here. So 5 gets eliminated from here. Now that is awesome, guys. That is really amazing. Which means you cannot have a 6 here, because a 6 here would indicate the position of 5 in that column, which would be this cell, and we have already eliminated 5 from this cell. So this cell would have to be a 5. You eliminate 5 from these 2 cells, and which means one of the 5's would have to be here. So 6 cannot be here and 5 cannot be here. So one of the 5's would have to be here. So which means 7 cannot be here, 6 would have to be here, and 6 is not in one of these 2 cells. Now that gives you a 7 here. I'm sorry, 6 here. That is awesome, guys. So 7 and 8 would indicate a position of 5, that is one of these 2 cells. So one of these 2 cells would have to be a 5 here, which means one of these 4 cells would be 5, one of these 2 cells would be 5, which means 5 in this column would have to be in these 3 cells, and it cannot be this. So the position of 5 in this column will indicate that 9 would have to be here. Okay, guys, that is awesome. I am really loving this. Amazing. And which means one of the 9's would have to be here, other 9 would have to be here. So in this column 9 would have to be in one of these 3 cells. Okay, if you have a 9 here, that is fine. If you have a 9 here, this would be 8. If you have a 9 here, this would be 7. Okay, let us see now. So third position would be 5, sixth position would be 5, first position should be 1. If you have a 1 here, this can be 2. Okay, one more thing. No, that is not possible, because 1 would have to be in one of these 2 cells. So there will be a 2 or a 3 here. That is awesome. This cell, okay, one of the 2 or 3 would be here. So one of the lower digits is already completed in this box. Medium digit cannot be here, because all the 3 cells 4, 5, 6 are not here, which means this could have to be 7, 8 or 9, and 1 would have to be in one of these 3 cells. Okay, and we know that 9 is in one of, okay, you already have a 9 here, so this cell cannot be a 9, so this cell cannot be a 1, which means 1 would have to be in one of these 2 cells, 1 would have to be in one of these 4 cells. So this column can have 1 in only these 2 cells, which means one of the 9's would have to be here. Okay, which means if you have a 9 here, 8 would have to be here. Okay, and we are not sure of the, okay, so we have 1 and 4 here, pair of 1, 4 pair, which means 9 would have to be here and 9 would have to be here. Come on, what else you are missing here? We know that one of the lower digits would have to be 1, 2, 3. 2 and 3 is gone here, so 1 would have to be in one of these 3 cells, right? That is awesome. So 1 cannot be here, so these 2 cells would have to be 2, and you already have a 1 here. Awesome, which means one of these 2 cells would have to be a 3 and 1 would have to be here. That is excellent, guys. It's amazing. This cell would have to be 7, 8 or 9 higher digits, right? Which means 9 would have to be in one of these 3 cells, right? Okay, there will be a 9 in one of these 3 cells. So, oh, you have a 7, 8 pair here, so which means this cell would have to be a 9. How silly of me. Here you have a 1, 9 pair here, so this cell would have to be a 7, 8. This is also a 7, 8. So you have a 7, 8 pair, 1, 9 pair, 5, 6 pair, 2, 3 and 4. Right? 4 cannot be here, so 2, 3, 2, 3 and a 4 here. So which means one of the 3's would have to be in one of these two cells. So this cell isn't a 3 now, this is a 3 here, that gives you a 1 here. That 3 removes 3 from these two cells, that gives you a 3 here. So which means you have a 5, a 9, either 1 or a 2 would have to be here. That will give you a position of 5. So 5 cannot be here, 5 would have to be in one of these two cells, right? Because if 5 is here, you would need to have a 3 in one of these two cells, you already have a 3 here. So 5 is in not in these 3 cells, not in these 3 cells, right? So 5 would have to be in one of these 3 cells. That gives you a position of 1 here. So which means you already eliminated 1 and 3 from these two cells, so this would have to be 2 or a 9. Or that we could have done it directly. That's bad. That is really excellent. I haven't enjoyed so much in 159 and Quadruple Sudoku ever. Awesome construction, guys. Awesome construction. So which means 1 cannot be in any of these 3 cells. 1 would have to be, so 1 cannot be here. I'm sorry. 1 is in one of these 3 cells. 1 cannot be in these 2 cells. 1 would have to be here. You cannot have a 1 here because 1 has to be in one of these 4 cells. So you eliminate 1 from this cell. This cell is a 1 now. That eliminates 1 from both of these cells. This one gives you a 7 here. That gives you 8, 7, 9 and a 1. That 9 gives you a 9 in one of these two cells. That gives you 8 in one of these two cells. Okay. Five is in one of these 3 cells, right? Which means one of these 3 cells would be 4. One 5, and this cell would have to be a 6. The only digit remaining in this cell is 6, which means this is a 1, 2, 4 and 5, 9 and 7. 9 and a 7 here. 9 is in one of these two cells, so you will have a 2 or a 3 here in these two cells, right? Okay. Oh, you have a 7 hidden 7 5 pair here. That actually gives you a 6 and 3 and a 6 here. That gives you 5 and a 2 here. Okay. One of the 2's would have to be in one of these two cells, right? For this quadruple here. Seven would have to be in one of these two cells, and 4 cannot be here, cannot be here. 4 would have to be in one of these two cells. So there are too many places for it. Oh, that was easy. 4 also cannot be in one of these two cells. So this cell is a 4 here, which means one of the 4's would have to be here. So this cell cannot be a 4. That means this cell cannot be a 5. Okay, so 5 is in one of these 4 cells. 5 is in one of these two cells. So this column will have a 5 here. That gives you a 1 here, right? That gives you a 1 here, eliminates 1 from this cell. 1 5 7 2 3 4 6 8 and 9. Six cannot be here, cannot be here, cannot be here. So you have a 5 6 pair here. So which means 2 cannot be here. So 2 would have to be here. When you have a 2 here, only place for 4 and 7 in these 3 cells is this place and this place. That should be easy for us to complete this whole 2 rows here. Wow, that is awesome, right? So one is in no, have I done any mistake here? 5, come on, Thank God. That is 6, 8, 9. That doesn't mean that 6 would have to be in one of these two cells, right? Bad. Bad. Very bad. Thank God. I just wrote 6, 8, 9. How could I eliminate one of the possibilities except the 6 to get to eliminate 6 from these cells? So I directly got that 6 cannot be in one of these two cells, but let us see. Let us do it by logic. I was very bad at just assuming that 6 would have to be in one of these two cells. Very bad. Okay, so let us do it logically now. This quadruple is done. You'll have a 5 in one of these three cells, which means 7, 8 or 9, 7 and 8. So you have 4, 7, 8 pair here, triplet here. 4 would have to be in one of these two cells, 5 would have to be here. That gives you 2 here, 4 is in one of these 4 cells, okay. 2 and a 9. 2 and a 9 here, that gives you 5 here. So 1, 3, 5, 6, 2, 9, 4, 7 and 8. 4 would have to be here. 7 and 8 would have to be in one of these two cells. 7, 8, 3, 1, 4, 9, 2, 5, 6. Right? So 5 is here. This is 2 and 6. 2, 6, 2, 5, 6 here. 3 and 9 would have to be here. So if you have a 9 here, 6 would have to be in one of these two cells, right? So which means 6 cannot be here, 6 cannot be here. You have a 4, 6 pair here. 4 also cannot be here, cannot be here. So 4, 6 pair, so 3 cannot be here. This cell would have to be 3, that cell would have to be a 5. That 3 gives you a 9 here. This 5 gives you a 9 here, 2 here. Eliminates 9 from these two cells. That we could have done it with 5, 7 itself, right? 2 and 8. So this is 8, that is 2, that is 7, that is 8, that is 5 and a 7 here, that is 4 and a 6 here. Okay. That gives you a 5 and a 2. 5 cannot be here. So which means 7 cannot be here. So this cell would have to be a 7 and an 8 here. Okay. That actually gave you a 5. Okay. So 1, 9, 4, 7, 3, 5, 2, 6 and 8. That 2 gives you that 9 would have to be in one of these three cells, right? Okay. So this cell is not a 9 now. Three and a 6 here. 4 and 8. So 5 here and 5 would have to be here. So this is 1, 4, 5, 9, 2, 6, 8, 3 and a 7 here, right? This is 7, that is 3. That 3 gives you a 9 and a 3. That 9 should give you a 6 here. That would eliminate 9 from this cell. So I was right. Then why did I go wrong? Let us see what mistake we did here. 2 won't be in these two cells. So this is a 2. So 4 and 7 would have to be here. Where did I go wrong? 1, 4. That 1 actually gives you a 9 and a 2 here. That gives you 5 and a 2 here. That 5 gives you a 6 and a 3 here. That 3 should give you a 5 here. Come on. You have done something wrong. Because there is no place for 7. Why am I again and again doing mistake? It is because I don't actually use the corner pencil marks. That is what is actually happening here. The moment I didn't use a corner pencil mark here, I eliminated a 3 and just wrote a 9. You can still have a 7 here. And that is what is happening here. This would have to be a 7. Right? That is, you have a 2, 6 pair here now. That actually eliminates 6 from this cell. That gives you a 8 and a 9 here. Thank God, if it wasn't F puzzles, I would have broken this Sudoku and I wouldn't be able to fix that. That 8, okay. So one of the 6 would have to be here. right? Yeah. So this 9 gives you a 2 here, a 6 here, eliminates 2 from these cells. Corner pencil marks could have helped me, but I am very bad at using corner pencil marks while online solving, so I really regret for it, and I am really sorry that I broke this Sudoku twice just while solving it, so that's my bad here. This one gave you a 1 here, okay. Three, 6, 5, 2, 9, 1, 4 and 7 and 8, right? Okay, so let us see now. What are we missing here? 2, 6, 3 and 7. 3 and a 4 here. 234. Okay. 2, 3, 4, 6. Okay. So where can you have a 7 in this 4 cells? 7 cannot be here, cannot be here, cannot be here. So this cell would have to be a 7. That gives you a 5 here. That should be easy now. 8, 7. That 5 gives you a 2 and a 5. That 2 gives you a 9 and a 2. That gives you 4 and a 9. That 4 and a 9. That gives you 1 and a 4. That gives you 8, 1. Right. So this is 3 and a 6. That gives you 3 and 6 here. Right. Okay. So yeah. So where can a 4 be in these 4 cells now? So this cell would have to be a 4. That gives you a 2 here. Right. 4 and 2. That gives you 8 and a 4 here. That 8 gives you 6 and 8 here. Okay. 4, 2, 6. So this would have to be 3. That gives you 9 and a 3 here. That gives you 5, 9. And 5, 3, 4, 2 and 6. So that is 6, 3, 2, 6 and 4, 2. And with that we complete this gorgeous Sudoku by both the father and son creation. Excellent. What an amazing Sudoku. I really ruined this Sudoku by breaking it twice, but I am really bad at online solving. I actually am still sorry for it, because paper solving I am really good at, but online solving I am really bad at. Right. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Do like and comment if you want us to solve any other Sudoku variant or a puzzle genre, and please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Thank you.